Well, hello. Today I want to talk to you about a subject that's very important to most people that are starting a business, or maybe you've been in business for a number of years and yet you've got this problem. And the problem is having a negative spouse, negative children, people that are trying to prevent you from starting the business, or once you do start the business, they're waiting to give you "I told you so's" continuously. And quite frankly, the reason most of us that fail to get support from our husband or wife or children is because we either don't know how to do it, or we've been so selfish that we've never given them any thought in the equation. I'm going to tell you a true story today, but first let's talk about why this happens. Let's take in my case. I'm a husband, so I have a wife, and a lot of times wives have a memory, and of course it's true also for women getting into business, but they have a memory of other things that you tried to do and you failed and you quit. And a lot of us have a whole background of saying, "Oh, this is it, this is the great deal," and we get support, and then 2 weeks later, 2 months later, or whatever, we quit and say, "Oh, that wasn't any good," and then we go looking for something else. So that might not be you, but that's true of a lot of people. They have a track record of failure, a track record of saying they're going to do things and then not doing it. And so you're painted into a corner where people don't trust you anymore. And if that's true of you, today's a new day, and there's ways to overcome this. A lot of times people think that that being in business at all is bad, that you should just look for a good job and forget about being in business. So there's lots of times that we have negative people that are close to us, that live in our own home, and that discourage us, or again, critique us constantly and make it difficult to really build a good business. So people also fear loss. The husband decides, "Oh, I'm going to spend a bunch of money and start this business," and the wife might be thinking, "Yeah, here goes our savings. Here we go in running up all of our credit cards." And so those are legitimate concerns, and people typically are negative unless they have a really good reason to be positive. People fear loss more than they desire gain. So no matter what the reason is that you might not have support, or if you're just starting right now, just getting ready to start a business, you've got a business that you want to start, now's the time to gain support from the people that are living under your roof. And let me just tell you a little story that might help you see how my children actually taught me about this principle. Years ago, I got a letter in the mail asking me to plant a new church. It was a letter of call to plant a new church. I'm a pastor, for those that don't know that. Asking me to plant a new church in Wisconsin, in Janesville, Wisconsin. Well, we lived in Missouri at the time, and I was kind of hoping that God wanted me to go to Tahiti or someplace like that. The last place I wanted to go was north, where Eskimos live, or polar bears, or whatever, was in Wisconsin. But nonetheless, I prayed over that letter, and the next day, when we had our morning family devotion, I read the letter to my children and my wife, and said, Daddy's had a call to go to Wisconsin, and I don't know if that's what God wants us to do, but something to think about and pray about. And I think we'll probably drive up and meet the people that want to start the church, and we'll make a decision. Well, as soon as I said this, the children unanimously started complaining. "We don't want to go to Wisconsin. We have friends here, and we don't want to leave." And they were comfortable. They had their friends and playmates, and they were comfortable. And the thought of leaving our community was just negative to them. So, get the point now. Everybody sees what you want to do in light of what it means to them. So in the case of a mom that wants to start a business, the children might be thinking, "Oh, it's hard enough to get her to give us rides to all of our activities we want to do, and if she's working some business, we'll have less of mom for us." So everybody looks at what you want to do through the lens of their own desires. So in this case, of course, it's not going to be my children's decision, but you like to get support. So I said, well, we're going to pray about it, we're going to visit, and we're going to decide if that's what the Lord wants us to do. Well, that day I was walking down the hall where our bedrooms were, and I looked in my daughter Faith's bedroom, and Faith was a horse lover. I mean, she loved horses. She had posters and pictures of horses all over her bedroom walls. She even had a horse poster on the ceiling over her bed so that when she laid in bed at night she could look up and see a horse. So all of a sudden I got this bright idea. We lived in a little manse in the church grounds, and we didn't have, a very large place, and we certainly didn't have room for a horse. So the next morning when we had devotion, I said, I've been thinking about this. If we did move to Wisconsin, because of our business, we could probably afford to buy a nice house on some acres, and we could probably get some horses. And boy, Faith's eyes popped up big, and she said, "Did you say horse?" And I said, "Sure, why not? Why not get a horse or two?" And she said, "Well, when do we go? Let's go, Dad," And I thought, that is so funny. I said, "Well, what about your friends?" "Oh, we'll get new friends." I said, "Oh, this is wonderful." And then I pushed a little bit farther. I said, "How would you other kids like to have your own bedrooms?" And they said, "Oh, that would be nice to have our own bedroom." And I said, "Yeah, there might be something in this for everyone." So anyway, I just wanted to tell you that story because here's the key. When you're thinking about doing something that's going to involve your family, whether they help you or not, you need to think about your why you want to do this in light of each one of the other people in your family, each one of your children, your spouse, of course, most importantly, and think about, what if I'm successful at this business, how could that positively impact the people that I love? So think about it, write it down, write a plan of what you want to do for your family and why it's worth it to work hard to be able to do that. And then what you do is you go to your spouse. Maybe your wife is working a job and she'd rather stay home with the children, but we can't afford to do that with the present income. So you go to your wife and you say, honey, I'm thinking about doing this business. Or maybe you're in business and you've been in it for years, but you're thinking about really pushing it and making it go. But you go to her and you say, honey, I'm thinking about doing this business, and I think if we do this, we could bring you home from work so you could stay with the kids. We could maybe get a nicer home to live in. We could maybe replace that old junker car we're driving. So go to people and tell them, first off, you got to think about this, and then go to them and tell them what you've been thinking. I'm thinking that this is going to be hard work for me, and I've got a job already and I work long hours, but I'm willing to work even harder to do something to improve our life, or maybe to put away college money for the children, maybe to be able to have nicer vacations, a nicer home. Do you get the point? Think about others. The fact that in our fallen nature we tend to do things for selfish reasons. I want to be rich, I want this, I want that, and we fail to think about others, and we fail to communicate to others that what we want to do for them. And so, if you're talking to the kids, you can say, maybe this will be our opportunity to visit Orlando and go to all those theme parks. And you watch and see if they don't say, wow, that would be great, So think about them. And this is my message for today. I hope it blesses you. Like it below and share it with others. And I hope it helps you build your business and helps you in your own personal business. Have a great day.